Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. First off, very quickly, there is an announcement I'll be making at the end of the video, so please stay tuned. So Yasuo, of course, becoming even more popular than he already was, all thanks to the new Triforce Rush build. And nowadays, I see almost every single Yasuo player build Triforce as their second item, followed by the Infinity Edge. Now I feel like a lot of people don't really know why they should do this Triforce build, they just do it because, well, I mean, everyone else is doing it. And I'm sure there's still a lot of people that are simply just not convinced. So the point of this video is to, of course, talk about this topic, whether or not you should get Trinity Force as your second item, Infinity Edge, and if you go for either of the two builds, what kind of runes you should be running, and really just talk about everything there is to talk about in this topic, especially since Yasuo is only becoming more popular. So first things first, what exactly are these two build item paths that I'm talking about? Well, the first path, and more or less the original path, is going for the static shift first, into the Infinity Edge, and then something like a Bloodthirster, while the other build path that's also the more popular one at the moment is of course the static shift into the Triforce and then into the Infinity Edge. But which one is exactly better, when, and why? So first, let's talk about the Infinity Edge build path. So the first major thing to note about both of the build paths and just playing Yasuo in general is that you do want that 100% crit chance. And when we're talking about the Infinity Edge build path, well, you're gonna have to get some of those crit chance runes in there. Specifically 10%, which then makes it 20% thanks to his passive, and then you'll get the other 80% from static shift and the IE. But what exactly are the pros and cons of choosing this build path? Well, the good thing about this build path is the fact that Infinity Edge as a second item is very strong in terms of just raw damage. So for instance, if you're fed, this is most definitely the better option to go. However, the main problem lies is that you don't really know if you'll get fed or not in the game when choosing your rune pages and champion selects, so you kinda have to guess. But the cool thing is the fact that with just those two items and that rune page, you already have 100% crit chance. And again, a lot of raw damage thanks to the Infinity Edge. So to put things in some sort of perspective, whenever I've gotten fed to the point where I had my Infinity Edge, static shift, and my upgraded boots, so maybe Berserker boots, by 20 minutes if not earlier into the game, I don't think I've ever lost because you just get so darn strong off of that, and the snowball potential with those items is extremely high. And you're most definitely doing way more damage than anyone else can do in that game at that point. So it is a very assassin-y type build. But the negatives of this build is the fact that rushing those two items first, you don't really get as much attack speed as you do in the other builds, so the Infinity Edge of course lacking that component. You are overall much more squishy and vulnerable since you also do not get any defensive stats whatsoever like HP. You also get next to no utility from this build as well. You are very snowball reliant. Infinity Edge's crit chance did get nerfed a few patches ago, hence the 10% crit rune page. And the flexibility in the rune page that you can use on Yasuo is nowhere near as high as the Triforce build. Which isn't a good thing because the rune page you have to use for this build path isn't really all that good, since for the laning phase, which is very important for Yasuo in my opinion, you're rolling the dice just simply hoping you'll crit the enemy opponent. So that right there is the Infinity Edge build path in a nutshell. But following that, let's talk about the benefits of using the more popular build path, the Triforce Rush. So here's the rune page I personally use whenever I go for this build. It is a very well-rounded rune page that has a mix of AD for the laning phase, scalability with the attack speed and the lifesteal, and overall it just works well. But the beauty of this build path is the fact that the rune page is so flexible. You can change so many things, like maybe use my page here, maybe just go pure attack speed, pure AD, maybe remove the lifesteal and put in more attack speed. It really doesn't matter too much. Just whatever works for you. But let's talk about the pros and the cons of the Triforce build path. So other than the flexibility of the rune pages, each component is huge for Yasuo within the Triforce item. You have the phage for the tankiness, move speed to be even more mobile, which also synergizes with your passive, building up your flow based on of course how much you move. Then you have the Zeal to get even more attack speed and crit chance on Yasuo because that's obviously very good. And then you have the Sheen for the AP on the E ability, but more importantly, your Q does proc the Sheen effect so you can cast it very frequently, dealing more damage, and it helps you split push towers much faster since you can Q the air and then use the empowered Sheen auto attack on the tower. And once you finally finish the Triforce item itself, well, everything I just said is amplified by a bit. A huge reason why this Triforce build has become very popular is the fact that when Infinity Edge got its crit chance nerfed, it made it so Static Shiv, Triforce, and Infinity Edge give give you exactly 50% crit chance when combined with Yasuo's passive make it 100%. So it just works together conveniently in getting you that 100% crit chance, which is very important on this champion. And overall, I truly believe that the Triforce build path and getting it as a second item followed by of course an Infinity Edge is overall just much safer. It is not as snowball reliant because you have so much utility gained from the Triforce, and you just get so many really useful stats that it doesn't matter if you're extremely ahead or just doing okay. Everything synergizes together very well. But the cons of this build path is that the raw damage isn't as high as the Infinity Edge path, getting the Infinity Edge as the second item, and the 10% crit chance rune page. This build path is a little bit expensive since Infinity Edge and Triforce are easily one of the more expensive items in the game. And the mana you get from the Sheen is utterly useless, though that's a very minor negative. So in conclusion, the Infinity Edge build path is much more snowbally and you can definitely carry games harder, though it does require you to get much more fed and also maintain a very good creep score. And you're very limited to what rune pages you can use. But on the other hand, the Triforce build path that I believe to be the superior one, since it is much more consistent and you get so many more benefits from Triforce on Yasuo, you generally have a better rune page for laning and the game itself. You get 100% crit chance conveniently from the 3 core items, and it's overall just much more useful. So now for the announcement. I want to quickly say I'll be attending SummonersCon in November, which is a big convention in Los Angeles. So if you've ever wanted to meet me and you want to say hi, take a picture, or whatever the case may be, that'll be the place to do it. So it's going to be a lot of fun and I really do hope to see some of you guys there. I'll have a link down below in the description to the website. But that is it for this video, guys. I really hope you did learn something new or found this video useful or interesting. If you did, definitely hit that like button, it helps me quite a lot. Make sure to share this video with your friends and subscribe if you have not, and to check out my other videos as well. But I hope to see you guys for the next one. Peace.